Unlikable. Well, as you can tell by my attire, I don't really agree about that. I do agree that there are other games you can play if you want a good one, given how the series supports shooter fighting games. But anyway, this is a video I've been thinking about doing for a while. I decided I might as well. So with the incoming DLC for Bio Smash Bros. Ultimate, as well as the as the lot in of the next 6 fighters in the fighter pass and potential discussion more. I think I would like to do something a little bit different, and given how my personal 10 characters I don't want to see in Smash Brothers is DLC, and 10 others I might like to see instead. Some are going to be similar to others, others will be different, but one ground rule I will set right now is the characters all have to originate from a video game, thereby meaning by default, no Goku and no Shrek. Somebody once told me just go play Super Slam, we want him. So let's get this started. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a big Doom fan. Not per se. Hey, I mean, apart from the original game on the PC, which I kind of respect, and the 2016 version, which I generally enjoyed, and maybe Doom Eternal once it comes out. Now, the series just never really did anything for me, so. And on top of the creator of the franchise, or at least people currently developing it, have stated in an interview that they've never been approached, which that kind of deconfirms this character, at least for the time being. Personally, I wouldn't care one way or the other. However, there is one character from id Software who I think actually would be appreciated if he was included. Oh yes. Now this would be a fight I can get behind, despite it arguably being even more hated than Doom in many regards. It's kind of a gimme given how, while at first when I was 16 I thought seeing Solid Snake in Brawl at the same time he was in the very dark, dramatic Guns of the Patriots that's on PS3, he was surprised. Now that we've got the likes of Bayonetta uh, and start appearing in the fourth game, as well as the appearance of Joker in the very dark Persona 5 in Ultimate, I go either way. Hey, I mean, we're definitely, and given how the ports of the newer Wolfenstein games have been released on Ultra on the Switch, which, apart from performance being changed a bit, we've come a long way from giving people a shave, removing some of the images, is making the guards speak English instead of German and replacing the dogs' words usual size in the SNES version of Wolfenstein 3D. And anyone else trying to complain about it, guys, you're almost 40 years too late given how the original came out on PC in 1981. Seriously, they've been around for so long, they actually predated the whole PC and Mac culture where they were coming out on the Commodore 64, the Apple II, as well as various Atari computers, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Yeah, given as someone who only plays short quick completion, and when he started appearing in the fourth game, I'm definitely gonna be honest that I really do not care about Xenoblade that much at all. I'm indifferent to it. Right? I don't think they look like bad games, by any means. I just don't think they look that appealing to me personally. I mean, especially he is true and who, given how these characters, while many others have bemoaned how they're not being included, I don't think they'd actually be as interesting additions as a lot of people claim. Um, Even though they're not quite his revealing outfits as a, a good boy pushing a Mai Shiranui, who I still had troubles like trying to kind of guess what they're wearing. Since like could what's with Pyra's suit? Why is Rex? Not able to decide whether he wants to wear regular pants or short pants. It's yeah. I still don't know how they're fair either. How they're given and what's on tap. But there's another character that's in the same sort of universe, but a part of actually do care about that I'd rather have. There we go. And if I was choosing which part of the Xenoverse I would want to include, who this would be more up my speed. He'd given with how that trilogy was very ambitious for its time. I'm really pushing the new technology at their limits. In terms of story as well as game design. I'm Even though it was acclaimed by the press and those who did play it was originally planned out as 6 parts, but was shortened to 3, given how the first 2 games underperformed vastly in sales. Which I actually think is actually a bit of a shame because I still considered them to be much more interesting to me than the other Xenoblade. So I would have to. This was also potentially rumored as a leak, but we'll see. But I'd at least be okay if they included her as a spirit or an assist trophy. So there is that. And yeah, I know I'm going against the grain in this one, but I honestly don't care. Given and how for every fighting game he's appeared in, like where he's fit like more of his Capcom games, there have been ones like the infamous PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale, which was a Smash clone that was a nice idea, but didn't really quite make it, and also infamously coined that meme featured Dante Devil May Cry series. I mean, I'm at least glad that this had, even though it's not my favorite series by any means, it's starting to get back into the public eye again. With like, even though some people try to defend that, personally, DMC was a failed experiment, and really telling it took 8 years for another game this year to come out. And DMC and Devil May Cry 5 was a sequel to the first 4 games that ignored the events of DMC. He, However, there is other tongue-in-cheek character with difficult but fun games I'd be willing to include. There we go. The first 2 games in the series were just fantastic. Heck, even that weird retro theme spin off I didn't think was as bad as the set. I actually have fun with that too. And with a third game of No Heroes coming out fairly soon, this would be the perfect time to try and get him in. And though admittedly some of the more over the top finishes would have to be he changed. But hey, again, if they're able to get in and some other characters and include their stuff and still keep it to an E10 rating, or in some of the other installments teen, it should be fine. Especially with what else I'm going to be including on this list. For both the ones I do want and the ones I don't. Yeah. If you guys actually think Hank Sakurai playing Minecraft on a Switch means anything, I personally have some games I want to sell you. While admittedly I've skewed more towards diplomacy than warm-up calls in my lifetime, and I noticed that if Banjo and Kazooie can appear thanks to Rare mending bridges with their former partners at Nintendo as well as the current ones at Microsoft, a lot of the claims about relevance and exclusivity have kind of been shaken up recently. That said, and I'm not entirely sure how Steve would work. I mean, sure he has some weapons like the sword and the pickaxe you could use, but given how many more humorous memes there have been as opposed to actually being a legitimate fighter, I think my next choice might be a better alternative. This is definitely pretty high on my list of characters I can put under potential upgrades from spirits, slash assists, or costumes. Given how Ness has been a mainstay ever since the first game, and even though I'm still waiting on official localization Mother 3, he, one day, Lucas has been in my rotation ever since Brawl, and I also jumped at the chance for getting his amiibo and installing him in the fourth game. So I'm thinking Ninten would have been ideal to help close out the a trio of protagonists from the Earthbound Mother series, especially if it meant to a potential official localization and of the third game. I mean, yes, I'm well aware that Robot Chicken sketch as well. And given how the translation group is willing to give the people in charge their stuff for official localization, and I'm thinking, it'll be perfect given how next year will mark the 50th anniversary of that game, so this might be a good way to do it. Yes, well, Smash has really helped reinvigorate Kid Icarus as main, who was always kind of had a cult following before, but with the trophy and melee, getting full playable character status from Brawl onward, as well as actually getting a full-on new game for 25th anniversary series. Actually had a lot of similarities to Smash's progression due to Sakurai's involvement in both games. This is one character who I think I'm content with leaving as a spirit main. It's given how, even though I'm glad in Uprising his curse doesn't affect you, so I had to go back to the medic, medic to get cured. It's still pretty obnoxious, man. I mean, this isn't just talking about the infamously campy Captain N either, which was kind of like a very primitive Smash Brothers, if I may be honest. I mean, but what can I say about the writing of that show? South-based emissary, it's not, man. Uh, However, there is one character from this ideal blend of challenging but fun platforming shooters and Greek mythology that I think would be a good fit. Yeah. You meet Magnus fairly early on in Kid Icarus Uprising, and I gotta say, he still stood out, I mean, regardless of where he appeared. I mean, whether they get someone like Patrick Sates or Fred Tatascore to voice him again, I'm thinking his particular move sets would be one that would be perfect to go with both versions of Pit as well as Palutena. I mean, because there's a lot of characters that you could give this treatment. I mean, it was a tough call, but I'm thinking I'm satisfied with what I would like to see. I mean, there's no guarantee it'll actually happen, but it's nice to think about regardless. Well, I may have thought that Dixie was pretty fun whenever she appeared in a Donkey Kong platform, especially when she first appeared in the Donkey Kong Country series on Super Nintendo, especially with her reappearing in the Returns games. I'm thinking that a lot of things like the spin attack as well as her weight, hate how light she is, and her hitbox might be even more potential to exploit than and Diddy Kong's peanut pop guns and jetpack, man. Even with nerves, that's still pretty insane. And let's say nothing of how beefy King K. Rool is, man. However, again, given how, even though Rare is now part of Microsoft, they are working to mend fences with their former partners in Nintendo. Oh, so here's a character that was also a joint venture between the two that I would love to see he he eventually make it in. Yeah, on top of going well with already highly established Star Fox representation with Fox, Falco, and Wolf, I think having Krystal make an upgrade from Sis Trophy to full on playable fighter would be a nice way to inject some female representation of the franchise in there. Because even though there were some other pilots in the second game which only fairly recently got official release, to be honest, I've seen more common Smurfettes in the series, man. And so, but still, I still find Star Wars eventually be a criminally underrated title, given how much attention they brought to the world. Sure, it may not have been a conventional Star Fox game, but it was a nice little taste of a Zelda-like title for the GameCube before Wind Waker came out. And the staff has nice creative mechanic you could use for fights, so I'd love to see how this would fare potentially. This has some similar rationale to why I'm skeptical including Doomguy or Dante, but not the exact same. While seeing everyone but Kirby get dusted at the beginning of the World of Light was pretty intense. I'm not sure her a game aimed at the cerebrals near Automata, which I may have not played on plan to, would translate well to Smash Brothers. There is some action, but it tend to focus more on existentialism, and to the point you actually had to beat the game twice in order to get the real ending and you're looking for. Or so. And that might be a bit tricky to translate to who Smash, to be honest, man. Granted, their characters in the game don't even speak basic at all, like Kirby or Banjo. Oh, but I'm thinking that there are other characters you could fit in that might fit better. Case in point, this half genie hero to me is just way too good to just be relegated to a me costume like with Sans or Cuphead. I mean, I mean, some of the characters has already been spirits in the game, or at least potential spirits. So, I'm thinking that given how the series is starting to get the attention deserves, thanks to re-releases and remasters and all new games, I think it's time to really give Shantae a time to shine. Yeah. So, much like with Rex and Pyra, and to some extent Minecraft Steve, I don't really know how Isaac would fare going from one playable character to from an assist trophy or spirit. Granted, I'm not that familiar with Golden Sun as a franchise. So and also just find his assist trophy spells obnoxious to counter her, but I think given how many other ones are like him, it'd be kind of redundant given how despite what other people claim, there actually are differences in terms of speed, weight, special moves, and fighter balance for the Fire Emblem Lords, and that includes Byleth when they go live, Granted, it there are some echoes, like with a case of like Martha and Lucina, as well as a case of Roy having and Chrome, but that's beside the point. And this is definitely one I think, but my alternative might be for another RPG that could use some love right now. Oh, okay, I'm not sure I could do who the laugh have, but given the current state of the Mario and Luigi series, here's my obligatory wildcard pick. I mean, well, I definitely would love it if Gino or Waluigi he got to be full on fighter, his upgrade from Mii costume, spirits, and his trophies. Those were given. This choice, however, there is definitely a bit of a left field there here for that kind of pitch. But I think Fawful has to be one of the most fun villains, not just in these RPGs, but also the entire Mario franchise. Like how gleeful he is. Like how he takes great pleasure in totally wrecking up the Bean Bean Kingdom. And even though it is kind of disappointing, that the original developer behind these games is not going to be functional, maybe they could be absorbed in Nintendo themselves, given how they own the name. Otherwise, it doesn't really bode well for potential remaster partners in time. But I guess if Spike Chunsoft can remaster their first two Mystery Dungeon games, anything can happen. So we'll see. Yeah. I always knew that this choice was gonna be on my list. Yes, given how try as I might, I just could not see the appeal in Yokai Watch at all, and it really is particularly telling that despite the 493rd game, which is in that screenshot I just showed, that I have trying the best to appeal to Western audiences, it's been an absolute hoot bomb and sales, selling just, and no, I'm not making this up, just 4,000 copies in the US at best. For a reference, my Luigi game just mentioned sold at least 20,000, so that's kind of abysmal. And given how in Europe it launched against Smash, which has sold almost 15 million respectively, maybe more than 15 million depending on some estimate you go with. Well, I'm not sure how this was work representation, given how again it's and the release of the third game just got clobbered by the double whammy of Kingdom Hearts 3 as well as this as the video game remake of Resident Evil 2, and that might impact other other level 5 franchises. I guess technically, if you want to include that for the Dragon Quest hero, but I still think that whole franchise more Square Enix is doing, even the ones that Level 5 co-develop. Even though how I'm not as harsh about the situation I used to be, as a whole, it's only doable for me. There is one Level 5 series, however, that does much better. Yeah. I still find this series much more interesting than Yokai, given how it took a lot more risk with all the same themes. Especially in the case of how transition from the first game to the second. Like, sure, there's some dark moments, least of all the main plot, given how you have to save someone you love from a cruel fate. It's tonally, the first Nino Kuni is not like The Hobbit. The book, more than either the adaptations, be it 70s Bakshi or. No, not Bakshi, Ronkin Boss or 2010's Jackson. And the second game is kind of like Lord of the Rings. Things going to have the conflict is more intense. Hence, where you actually had to fight to reclaim your rightful place as king or restore peace to the kingdom, which is an uphill battle, especially. So I'm thinking the characters and worlds of Neo Kuni but were suited to Smash than words of Yokai would be. Could see some of the yokai as spirits or at best assist trophies, but I personally would rather play with Oliver and his familiars or Evan and his council than and Nate was Spongy Bonnie on, to be honest, in Smash. Sorry. Hmm. This is by far the hardest choice I've had to make on this list. I mean, given and how I've talked about the series in the past, as I have enjoyed Mortal Kombat for a long time, and the series is still quite successful, even with the DLC, he the issues with the most recent game, it's still really satisfying to reduce not only with the fighting mechanics, but also to reduce your opponents to basically like a blood stain on the battlefield. So I can understand why that probably wouldn't gel with Smash the way it would with way one of the characters like Street Fighter or SNK fighters or even the Virtual Fighter 6 trophy would. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still think the Smash Brothers will be able to hold their own against most Mortal Kombat characters until the fatalities came in. Then they get messy. I mean, given how some of the Final Smash can be pretty over the top, whether they come from their source games or were created specifically for Smash, Ash, I don't think many good boys would be he into seeing like Sub-Zero rip out someone's spine or Kano tear out someone's heart. There's no way you'd be able to get away with that. That's mean. However, given who's helping out with the series a lot lately, there are characters from another franchise, or in this case, pair franchise, that I think might be able to make it in. This was definitely a natural choice for my number one character I'd rather have. Given how Namco Bandai has been helping a lot with the recent Smash entries as well as experience variety games, I think these characters would probably be some most ideal ones to have in there. Heck, they already developed the Pokemon Sort of Pokken tournament as well as the deluxe version on the Switch, so this will be a natural fit. And given how Soul Calibur's already had crossovers with the GameCube version with including Link's Ocarina of Time characterization, and given how I picture Yoshimitsu, I think his move pool and unique personality would fit in quite well with the Smash roster. Her, I mean, I've got a short list of ones of characters I want like to have for both series. For Tekken, my top choice would probably be Jin Kazan, my favorite character since I was 12, but I think any member of the Mishima clan would be acceptable, whether it's Kazuya, Heihachi, or someone else. Let's mean, for Soul Calibur, Nightmare would definitely be an obvious choice. Nice. But other ones I think would be nice to see would be a Maxi, Mitsurugi, or my personal favorite, Keelik. Mean, since all the characters in that series definitely have ones that are transferable to Smash. And you could definitely keep them the same kind of ones like you have with Ryu, Ken, and Terry, where on top of the basic movements, you can actually do more damage by doing the special moves with the arcade inputs. Not doing half circles. Bro, looking at someone who can do those repeatedly on command in their sleep if they wanted to. And not being able to use knives for steak. Joker's kunai, I would be able to fillet that and so do the other Phantom Thieves. So, and whatever happens in the next Fighter Pass or any future Fighters or Smash games, it's always interesting to see what other people want to have in there and what makes it in and what doesn't, regardless of what you think would be suitable. That's basically what I want to get across with this video, as well as offer a response to someone else who's been a big inspiration to me, even though I don't always agree with them. So, I will see you next time with my thoughts on Byleth and Smash Brothers Ultimate. Hmm.